Hey, it's Zane, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I want to talk about why I believe the next stop for Bitcoin is $1 million. A $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. Now that's about a 10x from here, and this has really significant implications for your retirement planning. If you're around my age, late 40s, early 50s, I'm 52, and you're planning to retire in 10 years, 15 years from now, you really have to be paying attention to Bitcoin. You cannot ignore it anymore. The fact that it is not just outpacing every other asset, but the fact that it is actually eating the financial premium out of all of the other asset classes, which is really what it's designed to do. It's a completely new, decentralized value system, a monetary protocol that is designed to absorb the financial premium out of the debt-based system. But I don't want to talk about that today. I just want to talk about performance and why so many people now are waking up and they're realizing they have to be paying attention to Bitcoin whilst there's still an opportunity to onboard into Bitcoin in a meaningful way. Because this window is not going to stay open forever. We have nation-state adoption coming. We have institutional money coming. We have corporate treasuries. We have insurance companies. We have government pension funds, all looking at Bitcoin to put it into their treasuries and onto their balance sheets. Now, what does this mean? What it means is that when you have an asset, a monetary protocol that is fixed, finite, cannot be printed, cannot be changed, cannot be increased in terms of its supply, and you have unlimited demand, and not just unlimited demand, but unlimited demand from some of the deepest pockets on earth, what are you going to see? What you're going to see is exponential growth in this transformative monetary network. And so it means that whilst you have an opportunity to get on the Bitcoin life raft, you really need to seize that opportunity. You need to take action. And so every single week, people come to me, they book calls with me, one-on-one Zoom calls with me, consultations, coaching calls. And last week, my calendar was full. This week, it's full again. I think I've only got 2 or 3 slots left for this week. But people are coming to me and they're saying, Zane, we're ready to get started on our Bitcoin journey. We've done a little bit of homework. We know this is the place to be. Can you please help me on board and guide me with the simple next best steps? And that's what I do. And over a call that's 45 minutes to an hour, I'll give you a simple roadmap for you to onboard and get started with this transformational monetary technology. So let's talk about this $1 million Bitcoin. $1 million Bitcoin. Now, there are prominent figures in the financial space from the traditional financial industry who are now turning their attention to Bitcoin. It's happening in Australia. It's happening in the US. A lady in the US by the name of Cathie Wood, she heads up a well-known fund management company by the name of ARK Invest. You can Google it for yourself. ARK Invest, Bitcoin, price prediction 2030. And what they're predicting based on all of the tailwinds that Bitcoin has, based on its historical compound annual growth rate and performance, they're predicting that Bitcoin is going to 10 to 12x from here within the next 5 years. Now that, in their mind, puts Bitcoin at 1.5 million US dollars by 2030. Like I said, that's a 10 to 12x from here. Now, what does this mean for you? What it means is you need to be paying attention to your retirement accounts, your superannuation, the performance of other assets you might have. You might have your share portfolios, your real estate. And what's really interesting to me is I'm getting people now come to me who are in the financial industry. And they're saying, Zane, we are so buried in this financial legacy system, we don't really know much about Bitcoin. Please help me. I understand that it's outperforming everything. I know it's decentralized money. I know it's the opportunity to become self-sovereign. Please help. Real estate agents, property developers, Last week I had 3 property developers who are deploying hundreds of thousands of dollars into Bitcoin, and some actually millions of dollars. This is what's happening now. They can see that their industries, what they're in, is not sustainable. They know it's not sustainable. They can see all of the problems. They're right at the coalface. And so this is what's happening now. People can see that Bitcoin is the future, what it's designed to do. And so, you know, whether we get to 1 million or we get to 1.5 million, it doesn't really matter. The future for Bitcoin couldn't be clearer. When you have a fixed and finite monetary protocol and you have essentially unlimited demand, when you have 95% of the population worldwide still has no allocation to it, it's a highly fractionalized asset, meaning that you don't need to buy one whole unit of Bitcoin. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin, known as Satoshis, and still benefit from being involved in Bitcoin. This is what is going to happen. We're going to see a flood of capital worldwide as people start to realize that working for dollars, saving in dollars, is a hopeless cause. It's basically committing financial suicide, because when you save in an inflationary currency, you basically sell out your financial future. This is why we have a cost of living crisis. Life gets harder when you save in dollars, not easier. When you save in Bitcoin, life gets easier, not harder, because it's inherently deflationary, because it's finite. And so, you know, let's just take $100,000 as an example. If you were to leave $100,000 in an asset class that's performing at 8% for the next 10 years, right? And superannuation is doing that. It's doing 7.5 to 8%. Just look up the Australian Superannuation Fund Association website, ASFA, and you will see that in the last 10 years, Australian industry super funds have performed at about 7 to 7.5%. And so for every $100,000 you leave in a fund that's performing at that level, you're only going to double your money in 10 years. Now, if you put that $100,000 into Bitcoin at its current growth rate, in 5 years it'll be a 10x, so it'll be worth $1 million. And in 10 years, it'll be worth 10 million. So it's going to 100x from here. And even if we're half right, it's still going to absolutely decimate the performance of having your money stored in the share market, in superannuation, or in real estate. And this is what people are starting to realize for themselves. And then they're coming to me and they're saying, please help me onboard into Bitcoin in the most simple, seamless, frictionless way. And that's what I do. And if you need to book a call with me, you'll see in the link in the show notes below so that you can do that. And I'd love to meet you on a Zoom call. So ARK Invest, their bull case is 1.5 million within the next 5 years. That's a 58% CAGR, compound annual growth rate, from here. And so my question to you is, what are you going to do about this information? Are you going to verify it for yourself? In Bitcoin, we have a saying, don't trust, verify. So I want you to verify this for yourself, okay? Because you have to be going on a hunt for information now. You have to be self-educating. You need to detach yourself from the legacy system and self-educate. And that includes the legacy media, because you cannot make decisions that are good for your life when you listen to the lies and the propaganda. You have to take meaningful action and responsibility for your own education. That's the world that we're in right now. So don't trust what I'm saying. I want you to verify what I'm saying is true. Get yourself onto Google and type in Bitcoin's compound annual growth rate for the past 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And then you will see what I'm saying is true. And then do the same for other asset classes, so that you can verify for yourself. And then from there, what you can do is you can get your hands on the reverse CAGR calculator, which is linked in my show notes below. And you can say, well, this Bitcoin thing, if I was to put $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 into this today, and I have a 10 or a 15-year time horizon, what could this mean at Bitcoin's historical compound annual growth rate. What could this mean if I project that out into the next 10 or 15 years? And the numbers will blow your mind. The numbers will blow your mind. If Bitcoin keeps on this current trajectory, and remembering, we have all of these tailwinds, we have all of the adoption ahead of us. If it continues at its 55 to 60% growth rate over the next 10 years, then we are going to be sitting at 100x, a $10 million Bitcoin. And if you've ever heard Peter Dunworth speak, who I love listening to, he's an Australian Bitcoin educator. He's also from the legacy financial system, financial planner who works with a lot of high net worth individuals and really is helping them to understand Bitcoin and to onboard into Bitcoin as well. He's based out of Sydney, but he talks very, very openly about what he believes, and that is that Bitcoin is going to 100x in the next 10 years and 1000x in the next 15 years. And he cannot see any reasons why this won't happen because of Bitcoin's nature as a protocol, its decentralized nature, the fact that it is fixed and absolutely scarce, and we have all of this adoption coming. So this is interesting stuff. We have institutional nation-state adoption. That gives us clarity. We know that ARK Invest's $1.5 million prediction for the next 5 years. It's not hearsay, it's not far-fetched. It aligns very much with Bitcoin's historical performance over the past 5 to 10 years. And so we're just projecting that out over the next 5, 10, 15 years. We know we have ETFs, Wall Street, the biggest fund managers on earth, buying Bitcoin. What are they doing? They're reselling it to their clients, not in terms of real pure Bitcoin, but in terms of ETFs, exchange traded funds. So a synthetic version, giving their clients exposure to the number go up technology of Bitcoin. But please don't buy an ETF thinking that you're buying real Bitcoin, because you're not. Very, very different. We have Bitcoin corporations now who are setting themselves up as a Bitcoin treasury company. We have Strategy B, Michael Saylor's company. We have Metaplanet. We have 21 Capital. We have these organizations now that people are now choosing to invest in because essentially they're Bitcoin proxy companies. And some of these companies are outperforming Bitcoin at the moment, but just understand that these are highly speculative plays because there's a lot of financial engineering and leverage that goes into these, into the way that they acquire Bitcoin. So just be mindful of that. What I advocate for is people taking Bitcoin, real Bitcoin, off an exchange, off a brokerage, and into self-custody. That is the true revolution of Bitcoin. So it's simple mathematics. When you have 21 million Bitcoin, 21 million blocks of land in digital Manhattan, as Michael Saylor talks about, there's 21 million blocks, and you and I have an opportunity to own one entire block. And on top of each block, there's going to be these huge skyscrapers built. Skyscrapers, apartments, condos, penthouses. And you can own a penthouse, you can own a condo, you can own an apartment. So fractions of a Bitcoin, a bag of Satoshis. And they are going to be very, very valuable. They are going to also benefit from the compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin. But don't get caught up on the price of Bitcoin thinking that you've missed it, because you can see that one whole Bitcoin is, 120,000 US dollars today, which is about 180,000 Australian dollars. That turns a lot of people off, but in being turned off, they're actually missing the point. They're missing what Bitcoin really is, and an understanding that you can allocate to Bitcoin in fractions and then gradually stack and build your position over a period of time. It's called dollar cost averaging, and it's a really, really powerful strategy. So every year for the past, every 4 years, Bitcoin has what's known as a halving cycle, where the issuance of Bitcoin gets cut in half. And this is how the deflationary protocol of Bitcoin actually works. But what's fascinating about this is that every 4-year cycle, Bitcoin's value has added a zero. So we went from The first four-year cycle, remembering Bitcoin was launched to the world in 2009, $100. Next 4-year cycle, we went to $1,000. Last 4-year cycle, we went to 10,000. This 4-year cycle, we've hit 100,000, which is where we are now. The next 4-year cycle, what are we going to do? We're going to add another zero, which is going to get us to 1 million. 4-year cycle after that, more than likely we'll hit 10 million. After that, 100 million. And so it goes on, because Bitcoin will always continue to absorb the financial premium out of all of the other assets. It's what it's designed to do. And this is why people like Jeff Booth, if you listen to Jeff, he's one of the smartest guys on earth, not just in Bitcoin. And he talks about how the true state of a natural free market is actually deflation. And because of that, we've never had a true free market, because all we ever see is inflation, prices going up, never down. And so we've been under the illusion that we've been in a true free market all our life, but it's in fact a lie. Bitcoin is a true free market, because for the first time, when you park your life in Bitcoin, you notice that that is a true free market, because the price of everything around you starts to fall. It doesn't go up. And that's true for goods, services, real estate, shares, you name it. But you have to spend time in Bitcoin in order to see this. So when it comes to adoption, I just want you to know that we're at 1999. When it comes to the internet as an analogy, this is where we are now. Everything is ahead of us. You're going to look back in 5 years' time and you're going to say, I wish I had have taken meaningful action in 2025. And so I just implore you to learn about Bitcoin, make a start low and grow, and just stick with it, and just make sure you've got a 5, 10, 15-year time horizon, whatever it is that works for you, and start stacking, start holding, and start chilling, and make sure that you take your Bitcoin into self-custody, so that you are self-sovereign, so that you are autonomous, so that you have no counterparty, you have no permission required. There's no bank that can tell you what to do with your money or tell you how much you can spend. But time is running out to do this, so I really encourage you to do the work on Bitcoin while you still can. Book a call with me if you need. You'll see a link in the show notes. But yes, Bitcoin has no top, because fiat currency has no bottom, and the next stop is $1 million. Let me know what you think in the comments. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. This is Zane signing out.